Picture the stage lights dimming over a sold-out arena, Vince Gill's golden voice filling every corner with warmth and melody. Imagine the roar of the crowd fading to a hush as he strums those first chords. Now fast forward decades later to today, where shocking headlines are rippling through the country music world, leaving fans on edge. Heartbreaking news has just broken about Vince Gill, a revelation so jarring that loyal listeners everywhere are holding their breath. What could possibly rock the foundation of an artist whose career has seemed invincible? In the next few minutes, you'll learn the full emotional story behind this sudden crisis. Long before the spotlights and standing ovations, Vince was a kid in Norman, Oklahoma, chasing dusty chords in his grandmother's living room. Born into a family where music and conversation intertwined around every table, he learned the language of melodies before he could even read. From his first halting pluck on an old acoustic guitar to penning heartfelt lyrics in high school notebooks, Vince's journey was one driven by passion and perseverance. Today, we celebrate his triumphs, but right now, the narrative shifts. The same artist who once found sanctuary in song is facing a challenge that's rattling his world. Earlier this morning, insiders whispered of a serious health scare. Details remain scarce, but sources close to Vince reveal that he's currently under medical care, battling complications that threaten not just a tour date but his very essence as a performer. Speculation swirls. Is it a recurrence of a past condition or a brand new diagnosis? Social media feeds overflow with concern, support, and yes, a flurry of rumors. But beyond the noise lies the truth of an icon at a crossroads. In this report, we'll sift through verified facts, personal testimonies, and historic context to uncover what truly lies ahead. Contrast this moment with the high-octane energy of Vince's breakout days in the late 1970s. When he first stepped onto a stage as a young bluegrass firebrand, his fingers flying across strings, he could never have imagined the heights he would scale. Yet, his roots in earnest storytelling and masterful instrumentals propelled him through Nashville's competitive halls. He recorded chart-topping hits, won dozens of awards, and became the golden standard of country music songwriting. Now the man who once defied every obstacle stands in the shadow of uncertainty, reminding us how fragile even the mightiest legacies can be. Let's rewind further into his formative years, where every chord, every lyric was a declaration of intent. Raised by parents who nurtured both discipline and creativity, young Vince absorbed the tales spun on old radio shows and live barn dances. His father's gravelly banjo and his mother's haunting harmonica filled the home with possibility. By age 5, he was strumming "She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain" with uncanny precision. By his teens, he formed a duo with his half-brother, serenading local audiences with flawless harmonies. Each note laid the foundation for the artist he was to become. The 1980s ushered in a new era for Vince Gill as he crossed the threshold from regional talent to national sensation. Aligning with legends in bluegrass circles and laying down tracks for marquee names, his virtuosity was undeniable. A stint in Los Angeles broadened his horizon, leading to collaborations that fused genres. Yet it was his return to Nashville that bore the sweetest fruit, solo albums that melded gritty authenticity with polished appeal. With each release, his artistry deepened, his voice conveyed both joy and longing, and his songs became anthems for anyone navigating life's highs and lows. By the 1990s, Vince's star shone brighter than ever. Billboard charts rarely dared to ignore his name, while award shows frequently found him clutching yet another trophy. Hits like "When I Call Your Name" and "Look at Us" didn't just climb the rankings, they carved out emotional spaces in listeners' hearts. His guitar solos bridged tradition and innovation, earning accolades from critics and peers alike. Yet behind the scenes, personal challenges simmered. The heartbreak of losing close friends, the strains of life in the spotlight, and the physical toll of relentless touring tested his mettle behind that confident smile. All of this brings us back to where the energy of Vince Gill is replaced by uncertainty deeply clouded with worry. The news we feared has materialized, casting a pall over fans who have witnessed his unwavering devotion to craft and community for decades. We'll navigate the details, explore the context of his past health battles, his unwavering spirit in the face of tragedy, and the deep bonds he's forged with audiences worldwide. Our journey will underscore how this moment, while painful, is but one chapter in a remarkable story defined by resilience and hope. As news of his hospitalization spread today, fans poured messages of support across social media, resurrecting memories of the many times Vince Gill faced adversity and emerged stronger. From personal heartbreak to professional setbacks, Vince's journey has never been a straight line, and yet his ability to channel pain into art created some of the most poignant moments in country music history. One of the earliest and most defining challenges arrived in 1989, when Vince's dear friend and touring partner Keith Whitley died tragically at the age of 33. The sudden loss ripped a gaping hole in Vince's life, and for months he found himself unable to sing, or even talk about music without choking on grief. It was Keith's death that planted the seed for what would become Go Rest High on That Mountain, a song so intimate that Vince wrestled with it for years before finding the courage to finish it. In the quiet of his Nashville studio, surrounded by loose lyric sheets and memories of shared laughter, Vince finally poured his sorrow into words and melody. When the song was released in 1995, it was as though an entire generation of mourners found a voice for their unspoken pain. Listeners clamored to his performances, wept openly at funerals, and found solace in the simple assurance that they were not alone in their grief. But the heartache did not end there. In 1993, Vince was struck by another cruel blow when his half-brother Bob lost his battle with leukemia. Once again, the unfinished verses of Go Rest resurfaced, and Vince tapped into a deeper well of emotion reserved for the memory of his sibling. Each chord he strummed reverberated with the dual ache of friendship and family, and audiences sensed something sacred unfolding on stage whenever he performed that song. Through searing vulnerability, Vince transformed personal tragedy into shared healing, and that gift is etched into the legacy of a career spanning 4 decades. Offstage life, however, was far from tranquil. At the height of his popularity, Vince's marriage to fellow musician Janice Oliver began to fracture under the relentless weight of fame, grueling tour schedules, and the pressures of constant public scrutiny. In 1997, they separated, and the divorce proceedings dragged into the following year. For a man whose songs so often celebrated love, the dissolution of his own partnership felt agonizingly ironic. Vince retreated into songwriting, churning out candid tracks about heartbreak, regret, and the search for personal redemption. Albums like When Love Finds You became cathartic snapshots of a soul in transition, connecting deeply with fans navigating similar upheaval. Resilience, however, has always been Vince's cornerstone. In 2000, love found him again when he met Grammy winner Amy Grant, and their partnership introduced a new chapter of joy and collaboration. Their marriage merged 2 musical worlds and yielded compelling duets, while their blended family life offered Vince a stable foundation his younger self could scarcely have imagined. The laughter of grandchildren mingled with impromptu living room jams, and the once lonely troubadour discovered that healing could be a family affair. Even amid this newfound joy, Vince confronted fresh physical trials. Kidney stones in 2018 triggered a severe infection that forced him off the road for weeks. True to form, he joked about the ordeal in interviews, describing hospital hallways as his most unlikely backstage venue. Yet fans watched anxiously until he returned to the microphone, reaffirming the bond that had carried him through so many storms. In 2020, a congenital heart condition surfaced, prompting another hiatus from touring. Medical teams worked around the clock, providing the care Vince needed, while global followers lit candles and sent prayers. His return to the CMA stage later that year felt less like a performance, and more like a homecoming celebration for an artist whose absence highlighted the void only he could fill. Now that empty stage is drawing renewed concern, as the latest diagnosis threatens to sideline Vince indefinitely. Speculation runs rampant. Is this an exacerbation of his heart condition, or a wholly new affliction? What treatments lie ahead, and will he recapture the vitality that defined his live shows? These questions hang in the balance, but one thing remains certain: whenever Vince emerges from his darkest hours, he does so with a song on his lips, and a story in his heart. For those who have followed him through every high and low, this moment is both heartbreaking and familiar. We've seen him shrug off early rejections, overcome gut-wrenching heartbreak, and laugh through the aftermath of surgery. We've felt the genuine warmth in his voice, as he invites audiences under the protective umbrella of his music, transforming arenas into shared sanctuaries of solace and celebration. Now, more than ever, the community he built over decades is rallying in solidarity. In the next section, we'll navigate the complex web of today's medical revelations and offer clarity on what's confirmed versus conjecture. We'll talk to industry insiders, sift through official statements, and hear directly from fans who have shared every milestone of Vince's remarkable story. Stay with us as we piece together the facts, trace the lineage of his resilience, and prepare to support an artist whose own heart has carried millions through their most vulnerable moments. As the morning's first reports surfaced, a hush fell over the country music community. Insiders close to Vince Gill confirmed that he was admitted to a Nashville hospital late last night after experiencing sudden chest pains and extreme fatigue. Initial statements from his management described the situation as precautionary, but friends worry that this brush with serious illness is more severe than previous episodes. Fans who have followed Vince's career from bluegrass barn dances to sold-out stadium tours remember how resilient he has been in the face of adversity, yet the tone of this update hinted at a different kind of challenge. Social media reacted instantly. Hashtags began trending, fan groups organized virtual prayer circles, and dedicated followers shared memories of iconic performances, all underscoring just how deep Vince's impact runs. Doctors close to the situation, who spoke on condition of anonymity, indicate that Vince underwent a battery of tests, including echocardiograms, blood work and stress evaluations. Early results reportedly revealed irregularities in his cardiac rhythm, reminiscent of complications he managed back in 2020. Yet rather than sounding a note of alarm, medical professionals involved have described his condition as stable but under watch, emphasizing that his overall fitness and prior history of physical challenges work in his favor. Those close to the star emphasize that while the heart condition might require adjustments to his touring schedule, it does not necessarily signal a career-ending crisis. However, any adjustment for an artist known for marathon concerts is significant, and it illustrates how even a single health scare can reshape a musician's roadmap. This delicate balancing act between transparency and privacy is one Vince has navigated before. Back in 2018, when doctors removed a stubborn kidney stone that had wrecked his ability to perform, he opted to keep the most intimate details under wraps, sharing only selective snapshots of his recovery on social media. That strategy allowed him to control the narrative, acknowledging the scare while steering focus back to his music. Nonetheless, fans flooded his Instagram with get-well notes and video tributes, affirming the reciprocity that defines his relationship with supporters. Now, echoes of that solidarity are resonating once more, yet the stakes feel higher. In an era where fans expect constant updates and real-time access, every statement, every silence, becomes part of the story. Industry voices have begun weighing in, offering cautious optimism amid the swirling speculation. A veteran tour manager who has worked with Vince on multiple world tours remarked, "He's one of the toughest guys I know. If anyone can bounce back from this, it's him." Meanwhile, top Nashville commentators note that the timing, just days before a sold-out arena run, could force rescheduling or cancellations, affecting supporting acts and crew whose livelihoods depend on his performances. The economic ripple of one artist's health crisis illuminates how intertwined the music ecosystem truly is. Record labels, booking agents and promoters are anxiously scanning statements for clues, preparing contingency plans, while hoping that a swift recovery will allow Vince to pick up exactly where he left off. Fans, for their part, are doing what they do best, rallying around their hero. Dozens of fan clubs have organized virtual vigils, thematic playlists, and hashtag campaigns. #HealUpVince, trending across X, Instagram, and Facebook. Tearful testimonials from audience members narrate the first time they heard Vince's tender tenor echo through a hall, recalling personal milestones, weddings, funerals, and family reunions, soundtracked by his songs. It's a testament to how music can become entwined with life itself, and how, in moments of crisis, fans transform concern into collective care. This groundswell of support serves as a reminder, even icons derive strength from the love of everyday listeners. While updates from his inner circle suggest a measured optimism, the weeks ahead will reveal the true gravity of Vince's condition. Will we see the resilient troubadour return to the stage before the year's end? Can the same spirit that forged career-defining ballads carry him through modern medical trials? These questions linger as fans hold tightly to past victories, while bracing for potential setbacks. In our next segment, we will lay out a detailed timeline of the unfolding medical developments, examine official statements side by side with expert commentary, and map out what a full recovery roadmap might look like. Stay tuned as we separate fact from fiction, and honor an artist whose voice has been the soundtrack to so many of our lives. We'll also speak with medical experts who specialize in performing artists' health, dissect social media sentiment, and highlight ways listeners can send support messages that reach Vince and his family directly. Streams of his catalog have surged by 40%, testament to how fans turn to his music when seeking comfort. As the dust settles on today's announcement, we've mapped out the critical milestones of Vince's current medical journey. It began late last night when an ambulance rolled up to his Nashville home, responding to an emergency call that signaled acute chest discomfort and severe exhaustion. By dawn, he was prepped for a suite of diagnostic exams, an echocardiogram to scan the heart's inner chambers, stress tests to gauge his endurance under pressure, and comprehensive blood panels to check for markers that could illuminate any underlying infections or imbalances. At each stage, the medical team coordinated closely with his longtime physician, Dr. Rachel Moreno, who previously managed his kidney stone crisis. Her familiarity with Vince's medical history allowed for an expedited review of his records, ensuring no critical detail was overlooked. Within hours, a preliminary diagnosis identified arrhythmic episodes tied to his congenital heart condition. Although this echoes the 2020 scare, today's irregularities appeared more pronounced under the stress tests, suggesting that simple rest and medication tweaks may not suffice. Meanwhile, experts are weighing in across the board. Cardiologist Dr. Marcus Elliott of Vanderbilt University Medical Center explained that any irregular heartbeat, especially one that recurs more sharply under exertion, can escalate if not controlled with precision. He noted that modern interventions range from targeted beta blockers to minimally invasive ablation procedures, each option calibrated to protect cardiac tissue from further strain. Interventional cardiologist Dr. Priya Singh added that Vince's overall fitness and non-smoking status weigh strongly in his favor. His baseline health profile is excellent for a man of his age, she observed, which means his body is already primed to respond well to treatment. Still, both doctors stress the importance of ongoing monitoring, continuous telemetry in the hospital setting, followed by a phased return to light exercise, with adjustments every few weeks based on recovery markers like ejection fraction and daily symptom logs. While the medical narrative unfolds, the music industry is already planning contingencies. His production team has quietly notified tour sponsors and venue operators of potential postponements, with a decision deadline set for midweek. Crew members have been placed on standby, with alternative gigs lined up to soften the blow of any cancellations. Record executives in both Nashville and Los Angeles are preparing simultaneous press releases to manage public relations, aiming to keep the focus positive by celebrating Vince's rehabilitation milestones rather than fixating on the scare itself. Such coordinated efforts demonstrate how a health crisis for one artist generates a complex cascade of logistical, financial, and emotional variables across an entire network that thrives on his presence. Fans, of course, remain the most vocal stakeholders. Analysis of social sentiment shows that #HealUpVince exploded into the top 10 trending hashtags within minutes of the news breaking, with thousands of heartfelt messages cascading across Twitter, Instagram, and fan forums. One particularly moving video thread features concertgoers recreating his iconic guitar riff from When I Call Your Name, captioned with messages like "Our stage is empty without you," and "We'll wait as long as it takes." Fan-made playlists titled Vince's Recovery Road have collectively amassed hundreds of thousands of streams, illustrating not just affection but action, a surge in royalties that directly benefits the artist. Creative fundraisers are also in motion, from limited edition vinyl bundles to signed memorabilia auctions, with proceeds earmarked for Vince's medical expenses and a relief fund for his touring crew facing unexpected downtime. Amid all this, philanthropy emerges as another cornerstone of support. The Country Music Hall of Fame has opened a channel for well-wishers to donate to their Music Heals initiative in Vince's honor, leveraging his long-standing role on their board to amplify the campaign. Collaborative partnerships are in discussion with local children's hospitals, aiming to align Vince's personal struggles with a larger mission, using music therapy to aid young patients dealing with their own battles. In this way, the community is transforming concern into concrete contributions that extend Vince's legacy of generosity while spotlighting the healing power of song. Of course, the road to recovery is not linear. The plan outlined by Dr. Moreno and her team involves 3 phases: stabilization, rehabilitation, and reintegration. Stabilization focuses on immediate risk mitigation, controlling arrhythmias, managing blood pressure, and ensuring optimal kidney function in light of past kidney stones. Rehabilitation shifts the emphasis to gradual physical conditioning, with tailored cardiac rehab sessions 3 times a week and real-time monitoring via wearable tech. The final phase, reintegration, addresses the emotional and psychological dimensions of returning to the stage: speech therapy for any post-hospital weakness, vocal coaching to rebuild stamina, and mental health support to reconcile the vulnerability of a public comeback. Each phase carries its own milestones, documented meticulously to reassure fans and stakeholders that progress, however incremental, is genuine and quantifiable. As we watch this story evolve, remember that Vince Gill's career has been defined by overcoming adversity through creativity, collaboration, and community. His life has reflected a symphony of highs and lows, each chord, whether born of heartbreak or celebration, resonating with listeners across generations. Now, his health challenge becomes another chord in that ongoing opus, one that demands the same resilience and unity he has so often inspired. In our next section, we will bring you exclusive interviews with medical specialists, first-hand fan letters, and a closer look at how Vince's most devoted admirers are using modern tools to deliver hope directly to him. We'll also explore potential timelines for each recovery phase and outline how you can stay informed, stay engaged, and keep the music alive until he returns center stage. In this segment, we bring you exclusive insights from the medical professionals guiding Vince Gill's care, alongside the heartfelt messages pouring in from fans around the globe. Dr. Rachel Moreno describes his current regimen as a carefully calibrated combination of medication management, rehabilitation exercises, and emotional support protocols designed to foster holistic recovery. She emphasizes that consistency is crucial, noting that daily cardiac rehabilitation sessions paired with targeted breathing exercises can rebuild stamina without overtaxing his cardiovascular system. Interventional cardiologist Dr. Priya Singh adds a note of optimism by highlighting recent advances in minimally invasive ablation, a technique that can correct arrhythmias with remarkable precision and minimal downtime. Beyond immediate care, voice coach Lydia Hart explains how tailored vocal exercises will help Vince maintain his tenor strength, gradually ramping up from low-key humming drills to full dynamic scale runs as he regains confidence. Parallel to physical rehabilitation, licensed therapist Amanda Ortiz stresses the importance of psychological support, observing that a performer's emotional well-being directly influences their stage presence and their relationship with an audience. Her approach integrates mindfulness practices, group sessions with other artists who have faced health crises, and one-on-one counseling, creating a network of shared experience that counters isolation. Music therapist Jordan Reyes adds that songwriting can also become a therapeutic outlet, suggesting that Vince revisit unfinished lyrics or compose new verses as an emotional barometer, helping him articulate and process his journey. Fans have responded by sharing their own stories of recovery, loss, and perseverance, creating an outpouring of solidarity that spans continents and generations. From heartfelt letters delivered to his home to digital art and music mashups posted online, the collective creativity underscores how Vince's work has inspired countless individuals to find hope in adversity. One fan, Emma Harding from Minnesota, crafted an acoustic rendition of When I Call Your Name that went viral on social media, amassing millions of views and reigniting interest in Vince's early catalog. Teenager Marcus Liu created a digital tribute, using AI-generated imagery paired with lines from Go Rest High on That Mountain, capturing the song's poignant message for a new generation of listeners. These creative expressions act as a bridge between artist and audience, transforming concern into art, and allowing Vince to see precisely how deeply his music resonates. Amid this wave of creativity, several music industry legends have publicly shared encouragement. From Dolly Parton's handwritten card, stating simply, "Take care of that incredible heart," to Keith Urban, reminiscing about hanging backstage with Vince during early bluegrass shows. Even contemporary pop stars like Casey Musgraves and John Mayer have sent social media shoutouts, reaffirming how Vince's artistry transcends genre boundaries and unites generations. As part of our commitment to keep you informed, we've compiled an interactive timeline online, mapping each update, reaction, and milestone from the moment Vince sought medical attention to today's treatment plans. Visit our website or scan the QR code displayed on screen to explore the full resource, complete with fan messages, medical explainers, and a document of Vince's past health victories to provide context. All of this underscores an essential truth: in times of crisis, art and empathy intertwine to create a powerful force for healing, unity, and collective purpose. As Vince embarks on this chapter of recovery, every message shared, every melody listened to, and every donation made adds a note of hope that echoes far beyond any single concert hall. In our final section, we will outline the projected recovery timeline in detail, set realistic expectations for his return to live performance, and share practical ways you can continue this wave of support until Vince steps back into the spotlight. Between now and his anticipated safe return, fans can engage in multiple supportive actions, write personalized get-well notes, and post them on our community board to lift his spirits each time he reads your words. Stream and share your favorite Vince Gill songs, especially those carrying messages of hope and resilience, to boost his streaming metrics and remind him how much his music matters. Use the hashtag #HealUpVince when posting tributes on social media to maintain the momentum of widespread awareness and compassion. Consider sharing fan art, videos, or personal stories of how Vince's music shaped your life. These narratives become a tapestry of appreciation that surrounds him. Donate to the Music Heals Fund in his name, securing your contribution to vital programs that mirror the compassion and healing Vince champions. Join virtual prayer and meditation sessions hosted by fan clubs to channel collective positive energy directly towards his recovery. Share this video with fellow fans to ensure everyone is informed and encouraged to participate in this outpouring of support. Thank you, always together. Now that you've seen how every step of Vince's journey converges on his forthcoming recovery, let's break down a realistic timeline for each phase and set expectations for his triumphant return to live performance. Phase 1: stabilization, typically unfolds over the first 2 to 4 weeks. During this period, medical teams focus on controlling arrhythmias with medication adjustments and monitoring vital signs through continuous telemetry. Fans may not see daily updates, but rest assured that each blood pressure check and echo result moves him closer to a baseline of stability. Meanwhile, family and friends provide emotional scaffolding to ensure he remains comfortable and engaged. By the end of week 4, barring unexpected complications, most patients return home under a modified schedule of outpatient cardiac rehab sessions. Phase 2: rehabilitation, generally takes place over the following 6 to 8 weeks. 3 times per week, Vince will attend supervised cardiac rehab at a facility near his Nashville residence. Sessions will combine light cardiovascular workouts, breathing exercises designed to strengthen the diaphragm and improve vocal control, and incremental increases in duration and intensity. Alongside these physical goals, his recovery team will implement a gradual return to creative work, initially low-pressure tasks such as reviewing old lyric sheets, offering guidance to emerging songwriters he mentors, or compiling playlists with personal significance. This helps maintain his sense of purpose and connection to music without demanding the full rigor of rehearsals. Voice coach Lydia Hart will oversee daily 15-minute vocal drills that begin with gentle humming and progress to modal scales. These exercises preserve his core instrument, ensuring that his tenor remains poised for the demands of live singing. By the close of rehabilitation in week 12, assuming progress hits anticipated milestones, Vince transitions into Phase 3, reintegration. This 8 to 12-week stage focuses on both psychological readiness and stepwise immersion back into performance routines. Early reintegration workouts include standing stage simulations without sound amplification, light guitar picking to test endurance and dexterity, and short-period interviews to assess vocal stamina during conversations. As confidence builds, professional backing tracks are played at low volume while he sings live, simulating in-concert conditions without full audience presence. Mental health support is an ongoing thread throughout reintegration. Licensed therapist Amanda Ortiz will conduct weekly sessions addressing performance anxiety and potential fears of recurrence. By week 20, Vince and his medical team hope he will safely engage in private studio sessions, laying down short sections of vocals or guitar solos, recordings that can be released as digital exclusives, allowing fans to celebrate each step forward while limiting physical strain. The culmination of this roadmap is a private fan club event, tentatively scheduled for week 24, Held in a small Nashville venue, this intimate sold-out show will mark the first live performance since his hospitalization. Seating will adhere to low-capacity guidelines, providing a supportive environment where Vince can gauge his readiness before committing to a full tour. If all goes according to plan, dress rehearsals will invite 8 to 12 backup musicians to stand on stage with him, though without full lighting rigs or pyrotechnics. Production crews will measure his energy expenditure and vocal recovery, adjusting the pep talk between songs as needed. After receiving final medical clearance, promotional materials can be released announcing a phased tour resumption. Enthusiastic as audiences will be, tour dates will be spaced out to allow recovery windows. Rather than consecutive nights, initial shows might occur every 3 to 5 days, ensuring his health remains the foremost priority. What can you do right now to sustain this momentum? First, continue streaming Vince's catalog. Each play adds incremental revenue and reminds him that his art matters deeply. Second, post messages of encouragement using the hashtag #HealUpVince. Share personal stories of how a song carried you through difficult times. Tag fan club pages and official profiles to amplify your reach. Third, consider donating to the Music Heals initiative in his name, supporting programs that offer music therapy to those facing health crises. Fourth, create or participate in virtual events, listening parties, tribute concerts, or panel discussions exploring Vince's songwriting legacy, each session reinforcing community solidarity and keeping his legacy in the spotlight. Fifth, share this video update with fellow fans, ensuring no one misses the latest information or the opportunity to contribute. Another meaningful way to help is through fan art and covers. Whether you paint an image inspired by his lyrics or record a short acoustic rendition of your favorite track, share it publicly with his team's designated email or social channels. These creative tributes often reach his private recovery space, delivering bursts of joy and reminding him of the widespread love that sustains his passion. Finally, practice patience. While your anticipation for a full tour is understandable, adhering to recovery phases ensures Vince can deliver the performances you cherish for years to come. Celebrate each milestone. Once he completes stabilization, post a note of congrats. When he enters rehabilitation, share a remix of When I Call Your Name. To honor his spirit at reintegration, offer to join an online listening party to keep energy high. In the grand arc of Vince Gill's life and career, every challenge has become a testament to his resilience and the strength of his community. Today, we stand at a new threshold, united by compassion and the shared belief that music transcends adversity. As he steps forward into recovery, your role as a fan is more vital than ever. With every gesture, stream, share, donate, create, or simply wait with hopeful hearts, you become part of a living chorus of support. Thank you for joining this journey. Stay tuned for personal updates, and prepare to welcome Vince Gill back to the stage, where his music will once again remind us all why his voice matters.